This video should have been completed 2 weeks ago, but I am just now doing it today. Why? Because I'm a procrastinator, and I've been a procrastinator my entire life. This video is no different. I've waited to the last minute to do it. So you might be wondering why I even bring this up. Why should you care that I'm a procrastinator? Well, you probably don't care, but I think it's a great segue into the topic of today's video, personal development. So before we get started and dive deeper into personal development, let's make sure we understand the definition. So I'm going to Google, and Google says, personal development is the conscious, lifelong process of improving one's knowledge, skills, habits, and mindset to maximize potential and enhance quality of life. So, how does that affect your lifestyle journey? It's a huge part of your lifestyle journey, actually, because in order to create your ideal lifestyle, there is a lot of personal work that you're going to need to do, likely, on yourself. And so that's where personal development comes in. It's one of the categories of the wheel of life that I've spoken about in my previous videos. And so let's look into personal development a little bit more and see exactly what that entails. So one way that personal development can help you is to help you understand yourself better. Most of us are used to our ways, like I mentioned before. I'm a procrastinator. I know that about myself. However, personal development will help me understand what I need to do to make that situation better, if that's what I want. So if I want to improve on procrastination, then I would look into ways of helping myself with that. That's personal development. You're going to be looking at your strengths, your values, also your weaknesses. And then you're going to look and see, first of all, is it something that I'm bothered by? Because there is a segment of the personal development world that I find to be a little bit toxic. And I say that because it is trying to create this perfect being. And if you watch my other videos, you know I don't do perfect. I do improvement on things that you want to improve in. It's not about creating this perfect being and making yourself, just 100% in every single area. That's usually what we call a robot. We're not creating robots. But if there is something that you do want to change about yourself, then personal development can help you dive a little bit deeper into that and figure out, like I said, what's your weaknesses, what's something that you want to improve yourself. Personal development will help you achieve your goals. It really helps with goal setting and understanding what the steps are that you need to follow to actually achieve those goals. And on this channel, we'll talk a lot about goal setting because it's huge in lifestyle design. But through personal development, it will help you map it out and say, where am I going? What do I want in my life? And so those are things that you can look at for yourself and say, hey, okay, my ideal lifestyle is this. So baby steps, as I always say, the micro goal maybe is starting down here with the first step. So how do I get from where I am to the first step? What is it that's required as I'm on this path that might actually take me many steps to achieve? So goal setting is really important. We'll dive deeper into that in another video. It's also about building your self-esteem, building your confidence. You'll never be able to change your life if you don't have the confidence to step out of your comfort zone. As a matter of fact, you are watching me step out of my comfort zone right now. I'm very much an introvert. Making videos is not natural to me. It takes me a lot of time to build myself up in order to make these videos right now, because it's so far out of my comfort zone that I have to work up to it. And that's fine. That is a goal that I've set for myself. And the only way that I'm going to get better is to continue to take the steps to get better, which in my case is continuing to make videos. So think about what that is for you and what goal that you're trying to achieve. What do you need to maybe adjust about yourself in order to make that dream come true? I will tell you, it does require stepping out of your comfort zone. There's a quote or something, I know I'm not going to get it right, but it's something about, all of your dreams happen on the other side of your comfort zone or something like that. And there's a lot of truth to that, because when you get really comfortable with where you are, you stop growing. And personal development is about continuing to grow, continuing to develop. And when you stop doing that, you get stagnant, and you will find that the world moves on. Your dreams are still there. Everything is still there, but you're getting further and further and further away because you've stopped growing and you've stopped taking those steps to get to where you want to be. So another way that personal development helps when it comes to lifestyle design is improving relationships. And this is really important because it's not something that a lot of us step back and take a lot of time to improve. This could include things like increasing your emotional intelligence. It can include things like becoming a better communicator. That's big. If there's some goals, some dreams that you want to achieve, you may have to learn how to communicate with other people better. You may have to learn how to become a better listener. You may need to learn how to have more empathy for people. So all of these things can be developed through personal development so that, again, you can reach your goals. Personal development also allows us to find fulfillment in our life, to find purpose, to continue learning, to continue growing. There may be something that you've been wanting to achieve for years, or at least try. And that could be learning to play a musical instrument. It could be learning a language. It could be learning more about your family history. There's so many things, and I think that we need to really buy into lifelong learning, because you should never stop learning. You should never stop growing. You should never stop trying to expand your mind. Like I said before, that doesn't have to mean that it's in a toxic way, but it's something that you naturally incorporate into your life. Learning, growing, stretching yourself just a little bit, that really will support you, especially as you age. For those of us who are over 40, over 50, we have to keep our minds stimulated. We have to continue to find things that allow those brain cells and neurons and everything to keep firing off, because you don't want to get to the point where you're stagnant, you stop learning, because it does affect your health in the future as you get older. So you're never too old to do most things. I won't say anything, but most things you're not too old to do when it comes to personal development. And so when I think back to my own family and my grandmother, she would always do crossword puzzles. And at the time, being a kid, I thought the crossword puzzles were so boring. And I was like, I didn't understand what joy she got from sitting there doing crossword puzzles. But now I realize that it was the fact that she was recalling words, she was learning new words. It was stimulating her mind in just a very casual, everyday way, because the crosswords came in the daily newspaper back then, So she would get the newspaper every day and do the crossword, and she actually looked forward to it. So now that I'm older, I understand those kinds of things. I understand doing puzzles. I understand all the games and word games and number games, that people play, because you have to keep that mind stimulated. And there's really nothing stopping you from doing it. It's something that if you want to up-level your life, if you want to achieve your ideal lifestyle, that's probably going to be a huge part of it, is just lifelong learning. And I've kind of mentioned this before, but also just the long-term growth. What are the things that you need to do that's going to improve your life over time? Time management could be one of them. I know a lot of people struggle with trying to fit everything in, and maybe when you start looking at this a little bit closer, you'll realize you don't need to fit everything in. Maybe it's some things you need to pull out. Maybe it's some things you need to do differently so that you will have time in order to do the things that you're trying to do. It could be things like productivity, finding optimal ways to do things so that they will fit. That's something that I'm increasingly getting interested in, is managing my time better, being more productive with the time that I do have, making sure I set aside time for all the things that are truly important to me. And that's all a part of personal development. And so when you look at personal development as a whole, look at it as, what are the things that I need to do to get to my ideal lifestyle? And I know this channel is Unconventional Finance, so you're probably wondering at this point, what does any of this have to do with your finances? Well, let me tell you, it has a lot to do with your finances, because the better that you develop, the more that you develop as a person, all of these skills combine and it attracts money. I don't mean in a manifestation way or anything like that. I mean, you get better. When you get better, you interview better. You learn how to negotiate better. You increase your self-esteem so you can go and ask for that raise. You build the confidence to step away from that job that you don't like anymore, so you can pursue something new. It might be entrepreneurial. It might be going for the job you've always wanted. All of these things have the ability to combine to help you increase your income, build other streams of income, allow you the confidence to learn about saving and investing and paying off debt and doing all the things that you know you need to do in order to live your ideal lifestyle. So that's how it all plays a role together. And like I've always said, personal finance is the glue that holds all these things together. So when you start improving yourself as a person, you will find that it's easier for you to approach the money part of it. It becomes easier and easier because, like I said, you're doing all of these things. You're going to see some changes. Hopefully, you're going to see some changes. You're going to see yourself grow and develop. All of that helps you ultimately achieve your lifestyle goals. So I want to know from you down in the comments, what's something you're working on when it comes to personal development? As I mentioned, mine is procrastination. Always been a procrastinator, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about productivity, time management, and working on that aspect. So What is it for you? What is it that you want to achieve, you want to accomplish? What's something that you want to do? Put it down in the comments, because I don't know if I've said this before, but I don't want this channel to just be about me or me just talking to you. I want it to be a two-way conversation. I want to hear from you. I want to be able to communicate with you and hear what's going on in your life. And I also want to learn from your experience. So in order to do that, you need to comment down below. If you're new here, I'm Kimberly. I'm a proud Gen Xer, and I'm very passionate about personal finance and lifestyle design. And on this channel, I offer ideas, insight, inspiration to help you design your ideal lifestyle. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and share this with a friend. And I hope you have a fabulous day, and I'll see you in the next one.